Okay, we are now live, simulcasting for our 91st edition of Englishing with Jings, where our subject is solar storms. This is a hot subject, hot item lately, people. We've had a lot of different solar storms in the recent months, and they always tell us that there's a possibility of not having any communications because of these solar storms, which create magnetic storms around the Earth that we live on. So before we get into that, first, we are going to have our weekly weather report. Today's city we'll be focusing on is Guangzhou in China. So let's get straight to it, shall we? Okay. All right, here we see, we're going to do a 10-day report on Guangzhou, China. So it looks like today, a high of 22 degrees, a low of 8 degrees, partly sunny and pleasant. Tomorrow, we have a high of 24, a low of 9, partly sunny and beautiful. Wow. Guangzhou seems to be a really good place for weather these days. Tuesday, we have a high of 24, a low of 10, partly sunny and delightful. Interesting. Wednesday, we have a high of 24, a low of 11, partly sunny and once again delightful. All of while we have 0% chance of rain. Actually, Wednesday, a 1% chance. Thursday, we have a high of 24 degrees, a low of 11, partly sunny and delightful. Wow, can they have any better description for weather? Okay, Friday, we have a high of 24, a low of 12, sunny and pleasant. Pleasant, delightful, beautiful. Okay. Saturday, we have a high of 27. Low is a little bit warmer, 15 degrees with mostly sunny and warm. 1% chance of rain. Sunday, we have a high of 24, a low of 15, warm with plenty of sun. Hello, Celia. Welcome to the show. Monday, we have a high of 23, a low of 12 degrees, plenty of sunshine, 1% chance of rain. Tuesday, we have a high of 21, low of 13, partly sunny. That's probably the worst of the next 15 days. Wednesday, we have a high of 19, a low of 11, partly sunny. I suppose that's a little bit chilly for Guangzhou. And Thursday, we have a high of 20, low of 13, and finally cloudy with a 6% chance of rain. Okay, that's going to do it for the 91st edition of the Weather Report. And that is how you will see the weather in Guangzhou. Okay. All right, people. And next, as always, we're going to have our weekly astrology or horoscope report. I suppose this is a perfect week to forecast Guangzhou. I mean, we're having nothing but sun in that city. Okay. Time for the astrology report, peeps. We'll be kicking off this week, as always, with Aries. Perfect week for solar storms. This week, the solar eclipse opens up an educational possibility. Aries, you could reach a decision. This week begins on Monday, like it always does, with Mars in Scorpio in your house of resources, making a trine to Neptune in Pisces. You could feel very generous today, and you're often generous. You may be looking at how you can gather resources for a charity, or perhaps you're sending money to younger relatives. Aries, It's possible you're putting together a gift basket for a neighbor. And all of this is done with a feeling of holiday cheer. Okay, on Tuesday with Mercury in Sagittarius and your house of spirituality makes a sextile to Saturn in Aquarius in your house of community. You might be attending a holiday party for an organization that you belong to. You could be the person in charge of the decorations, catering, and the open bar. Today, you're busy making preparations, making lists, and getting things done. There you go, Aries. All right, next up we have Taurus. This week, you could hear wedding bells. Taurus, there's energy of nuptials around you. Ooh. This week begins with Mars in Scorpio in your house of relationships, making a sextile to Pluto in your house of legal contracts. Taurus, you may be thinking about weddings. As stated before, it's possible that you're planning your own wedding or you received an invitation to attend an out-of-town event. All this has you thinking about the obligations and benefits that marriage brings. Okay, on Tuesday with Mercury in Sagittarius in your house of investments, making a square to Neptune in Pisces in your house of innovation. You may be thinking of doing something quite adventurous with your investments, which is uncharacteristic of you. Taurus, you might dream of gains while there's volatility in the crypto or derivative markets. Hold on to your wallet. A square to Neptune can bring confusion, false claims, and wild exaggerations. Okay. Next up, we have Gemini. This week, you're getting your finances into shape. Gemini, actions like these help you create cash money. It's all about creating that cash money, I think, right? Just kidding. Life is bigger than cash money. This week begins with Mars in Scorpio in your house of routines, making a sextile to Pluto in your house of bills and obligations. Gemini, now is a great time to get into the habit of sticking to a budget. Perhaps you want to have investing become a regular part of your week. You may be up late adding together your financial obligations or setting up automatic deposits and withdrawals. On Tuesday with Mercury in Sagittarius in your house of relationships, making a square to Neptune in Pisces in your house of fame. Your relationship may become public knowledge. It's possible you're changing your relationship status on social media. Gemini, you may make an important announcement to friends and family. You might be ready to introduce your partner to your friends and family, or perhaps you're getting engaged. This is a good time to let others know. All right. Next up, we have Cancer. All right, this week you could meet an exciting individual. Cancer, you are broadening your horizons. This week begins with Mars in Scorpio in your house of risk-taking, making a sextile to Pluto in your house of relationships. Cancer, this is good energy for meeting someone new, perhaps on a blind date, through a matchmaking service, or an online dating platform. If you're already dating, it's time to start talking about the future. You may drop some hints about long-term plans or be bold and suggest living together next year. All right, on Tuesday with Mercury in Sagittarius in your house of work and routines, making a square to Neptune in Pisces in your house of education. You may be honing your study habits to learn something new. You might find a routine or process to remember a lot of data. Cancer, you might be using Anki flashcards or watching study with me videos. because Neptune removes boundaries, pardon me. You may want to sleep on your notes and see how much enters your brain through osmosis. Okay. Now we have Leo. This week, you're stepping up to take charge. Leo, this is second nature to you. That's right. That's what Leos do. They take charge. True born leaders. This week begins with Mars in Scorpio in your house of foundations, making a sextile to Pluto in your house of work. Today, you may step up to lead the team. Leo, you might take charge of a meeting and point out the flaws of a potential plan. You may handle a public relations crisis for your company with grace and aplomb. You are using your natural talents to benefit your company, and your coworkers appreciate it. On Tuesday, with Mercury in Sagittarius in your house of romance, making a square to Neptune in Pisces in your house of intimacy. Leo, you might want to hang a do not disturb sign on the door. There can be a spicy time between you and your sweetheart today. You're sending out the green light. All systems are go. Things go from tepid to tempting in no time flat. Uh-oh. Okay, next up is Virgo. This week, you are examining your obligations in a relationship. Virgo, a love connection could get stronger. This week begins with Mars in Scorpio in your house of agreements, making a sextile to Pluto in your house of romance. There's give and take in every relationship, even a romantic one. Today, you and your sweetheart could be discussing what each of you is contributing to your connection. This can help you to take the relationship to the next level. On Tuesday, with Mercury in Sagittarius in your house of home and family, making a square to Neptune in Pisces in your house of relationships. Virgo, you may be talking to your family about bringing your sweetheart home for the holidays. The family may be discussing where holiday celebrations will be held. Perhaps it's at your house, your mom's, or at grandma's. Each location has benefits and drawbacks, and you're all weighing the options. Okay. Next up, we have Libra, of course. This week, you're learning more about yourself. Libra, changing your story could be key to your future prosperity. This week begins with Mars in Scorpio in your house of cash, money, making a sextile to Pluto in your house of foundations. Today's a good day to look at your core beliefs regarding money. These benefits have been formed in childhood. Perhaps you see yourself as a spender, or you call yourself frugal. Maybe you stick to a budget, or perhaps you like to forget about your finances entirely. Is that possible? Libra, this will give you insight into how you can get on a path to financial security. So Libra must be a careless spender. Okay. On Tuesday, with Mercury in Sagittarius in your house of contracts, making a square to Neptune in Pisces in your house of work. Libra, you might review an agreement for a new job. There's a desire to get it signed quickly, but this aspect with Neptune can make things vague and imprecise. Make sure you understand what you're getting into before signing. Always never sign without reading, people. It's sound advice. All right, on to Scorpio. All right, this week when you speak, people listen. Scorpio, it's time to make your requests. This week begins with Mars in your own sign of Scorpio, making a sextile to Pluto in your house of communication. Today, people are listening to you. This is an excellent time to state what you want. At the same time, when you are listening, you are picking up a great deal of information from the chatterboxes around you. Everybody's always talking. You can ask for favors while uncovering other people's secrets simultaneously. Tricky. Okay, on Tuesday with Mercury in Sagittarius and your house of money, making a square to Neptune in Pisces in your house of speculation. Scorpio, you may be itching to get involved in a speculative investment that everyone's talking about. From the time you wake up in the morning, you may have visions of prosperity if you purchase the latest investment craze at a great price. But use caution today, if possible, as an aspect with Neptune could cause you to see the world through rose-colored glasses. Sounds tricky. All right. This one's for all you Sagittariuses. This week, you can tap into money energy. That's what I'm talking about. Why can't I be Sagittarius? Sagittarius, you're finding the spiritual path to prosperity. This week begins with Mars in Scorpio in your house of magic. Oh, yeah. Making a sextile to Pluto in your house of money. That's what I'm talking about. Dust off your money crystals. Citrine is a good choice for this purpose. Is it citrine or citrine? Or pull out your money incense. Sagittarius, you may want to say a prayer while you're holding your list of goals or play a money affirmation video of Lakshmi. I don't know that. With an endless supply of coins flowing from her hands. You could see results by the end of the week. On Tuesday, in your own sign of Sagittarius, makes a square to Neptune and Pisces in your house of history and ancestors. Sagittarius wins for most interesting horoscope this week. A great way to boost your confidence is to remember successes from your past. Consider the tough times you've been through and the correct decisions you've made. And then reach back further and reconnect to grandparents, great-grandparents, and your ancestors all the way back to the beginning of time. Sagittarius, you have a line of people helping you. Oh, yeah. I like this. This is good. Okay, on to Capricorn. This week, you may be asked to take the lead. Capricorn, others are witnessing your power. Flex a little bit, Capricorn. This week begins with Mars in Scorpio and your house of community, making a sextile to Pluto in your own sign of Capricorn. Today, you could be tapped on the shoulder to lead an organization. Capricorn, you could become president of your networking group or have a pivotal role in a community outreach program. All while this does mean more responsibility, it looks great on your resume. On Tuesday with Mercury in Sagittarius and your house of intuition, making a square to Neptune and Pisces in your house of communication. This is an excellent day to work on your psychic ability. Oftentimes, earth signs such as yourself have great success when using crystals or objects such as pendulums or dowsing rods. Consider checking out the abundance of information online and start doing regular practice with tools for increasing your psychic connection. All right. Up next, we have Aquarius. This week, career opportunities come when you make a wish. Aquarius, it's time to activate your spiritual side. This week begins with Mars in Scorpio in your house of career, making a sextile to Pluto in Capricorn and your house of magic. You know, my sign never has house of magic. What the heck, man? Today, it's a good idea to make a vision board or to do a colorful screensaver with reminders of your goals. Aquarius, you might light a yellow candle to find a new job or burn incense to gain a promotion. Consider doing some feng shui by sweeping off your front porch to welcome in new career energy. On Tuesday, Mercury in Sagittarius in your house of friendships makes a square to Neptune in Pisces in your house of values. Your friends are invaluable in your life. Every once in a while, it's good to let your friends know how much you appreciate them. Aquarius, you can do this by sending loving texts, mailing greeting cards, or picking up the phone and calling someone you haven't talked to in a while. By the end of the day, you'll both feel fantastic. All right. Last but not least, bringing up the rear, we have Pisces. All right, this week you're learning something new. Pisces, you're expanding your world. This week begins with Mars in Scorpio in your house of education, making a sextile to Pluto in Capricorn in your house of community. Pisces, you might be venturing out to take a class, perhaps on cookie decorating or ikebana, Japanese flowering arrangement. I don't know. Perhaps you are getting ready to teach a class, gathering people online to show them how to blog or to get their YouTube channel started. Today, you're involved with others and learning along the way. We're always learning. All right. On Tuesday with Mercury in Sagittarius in your house of reputation, making a square to Neptune in your own sign of Pisces. Today, you rise in other people's estimation. You can gain some fame and certainty, and certainly more followers. Pisces, this is a good day to let others know what you're up to by posting to social media or sending out holiday letters. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for the 91st edition of the Horoscope Report. And you know, I'm no horoscope or astrology expert, but I do know that a new moon just started, and this definitely affects all of us. Those new moons can be really tricky. Okay. It's time for the 91st edition of Vocabulary, people. And as always, these vocabulary are related to our subject. All right, guys. Here we go. Vocabulary number 1 for week 91. Very relevant is solar. Solar. Say it with me, everybody. Solar. Very good. Okay. Solar is of, derived from, relating to, or caused by the sun. Measured by the Earth's course in relation to the sun. Relating to or reckoned by solar time. Produced or operated by the action of the sun's light or heat, utilizing the sun's rays, especially to produce heat or electricity. And that's solar. Okay. Up next, we have magnetic field. Magnetic field. Say it with me, everybody. Magnetic field. Very good. Okay, by the way, solar. Why do I do this? Okay, I forgot to give part of speech. Solar is definitely an adjective. Okay, magnetic field is a noun. And this is the portion of space near a magnetic body or a current carrying body in which the magnetic forces due to the body or current can be detected. Magnetic field. Okay. That brings us to number 3. And this is a very beautiful vocabulary. Aurora Borealis. Aurora Borealis. Say it with me, everybody. Aurora Borealis. Very good. Okay, the Aurora Borealis is an aurora that occurs in Earth's northern hemisphere, caused by solar storms which create a magnetic storm. Storms of this magnitude can produce Aurora Borealis as far as the yellow line on the map. Yep. By the way, the Aurora Borealis has been getting bigger and bigger lately. Not good. And that's a noun once again. Oh, Brandon, wake up. Okay. Number 4, and this is not virus related, corona. Corona. Say it with me, everybody. Corona. Very good. Okay. Let me find the right one here. A usually colored circle often seen around and close to a luminous body such as the sun or moon, caused by diffraction produced by suspended droplets or occasionally particles of dust. The tenuous outermost part of the atmosphere of a star such as the sun. A circle of light made by the apparent convergence of the streamers of the Aurora Borealis. Corona. All right, on to number 5, sunspot. Sunspot. Well, this brings me back to science class. Say it with me, everybody. Sunspot. Very good. Sunspot. Part of speech, noun. There you go, Brandon. Okay, these are any of the dark spots that appear at times on the sun's surface and are usually visible only through a telescope. Sunspot. Okay. Up next, we have, and by the way, we have a few solar terms. Solar flare. Just like what you see around me right now. These are solar flares. Solar flare. Say it with me, everybody. Solar flare. Very good. Okay, a solar flare is a noun. This is a sudden temporary outburst of energy from a small area of the sun's surface. Solar flare. Okay. On to number 7, we have ozone. Not Ozone. Ozone. Say it with me, everybody. Ozone. Very good. Okay, ozone is also a noun. Lots of nouns. Normally we have lots of adjectives. Today, lots of nouns. Okay, this is a triatomic, very reactive form of oxygen that is a bluish, irritating gas of pungent odor that is a major air pollutant in the lower atmosphere, but a beneficial component of the upper atmosphere, and that is used for oxidizing, bleaching, disinfecting, and deodorizing. Who will produce ozone? Who will produce Oz1? Very good, Celia. Not this guy. I am so green. Okay, on to the next, which is number 8, which is radiation. Radiation. Say it with me, everybody. Radiation. Another noun. Can you believe it? Okay. Radiation. And there's a few definitions here, by the way. Okay, the action or process of radiating. The process of emitting radiant energy in the form of waves or particles. The combined process of emission, transmission, and absorption of radiant energy. The transfer of heat. Something that is radiated, energy radiated in the form of waves or particles. Adaptive radiation. Radiation. Okay. Up next, we have the word that I used in the promo. If you guys didn't understand that first portion, facular. I think I sounded like I said vacular, but it's facular. Facular. Say it with me, everybody. Facular. There you go. Not the, f. Really. Okay. Okay. Facular is Latin for little torch, is literally a bright spot. The term has several common technical issues. It is used in planetary nomenclature for naming certain surfaces and features of planets and moons, and is also a type of surface phenomenon on the sun's photosphere. Facular. Okay, on to the next. Another solar term, solar wind. Solar wind. A lot of my students like to say wind or windy. It's windy outside today. Wind, windy. Solar wind. Say it with me, everybody. Solar wind. Okay. Solar wind is plasma continuously ejected from the sun's surface into and through interplanetary space. Geomagnetic storms are large disturbances in the Earth's magnetic field caused by changes in the solar wind and the structure of the interplanetary magnetic field. Solar storm. Big fancy way to say solar storm. Okay. Next, we have physics. It's all about physics. Everything in this world or outer world. Physics. Say it with me, everybody. Physics. Okay. Physics is a science that deals with matter and energy and their interactions. The physical processes and phenomena of a particular system. The physical properties and composition of something. Physics. It's all about physics. Okay, number 12, we have heliosphere. Heliosphere. Say it with me, everybody. Heliosphere. Very good. Okay, this is the region in space influenced by the sun or solar wind. The direct impact zone. And by the way, that's a noun. I keep forgetting part of speech. Sorry, guys. Accidents happen. Okay, heliosphere. And last but not least, we have Ionosphere. I can never say this one right. Ionosphere. Ionosphere. Say it with me, everybody. Ionosphere. Very good. Ionosphere. 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 That's how you say it. Okay. This is a noun. This is the part of the Earth's atmosphere in which ionization of atmospheric gases affects the propagation of radio waves, which extends from about 30 miles, 50 kilometers, to the exosphere, and which is contiguous with the upper portion of the mesosphere and the thermosphere. Lots of layers. A comparable region of charged particles surrounding another celestial body. Ionosphere.
Ionosphere.
Like that. Okay. What's going on? Okay. Guys, that's going to do it for the 91st edition of our vocabulary. And now it's time to start talking about solar storms. Is everybody ready for this? I know I am. This is something that we're really going to have to pay really close attention to in the future, because this is definitely affecting our life here on Earth. Especially with the ozone layer becoming so thin, and with mankind opening these huge holes. This is going to allow a lot of radiation into our atmosphere, I think. Definitely contributing to global warming. Let's just say that it creates some beautiful images in the sky as far as the Aurora Borealis is concerned, but it's not good. You look, you're like, well, that's so pretty. That's not a good thing. Rather dangerous. A lot of people don't realize that. Okay. Let me pick up some facts here real quick. Give me a second. All right. Let's just read a general term here really fast. Okay. A solar storm is a disturbance on the sun which can emanate outward across the heliosphere, affecting the entire solar system, including Earth and its magnetosphere, and is the cause of space weather in the short term, with long-term patterns compromising space climate. That's right, people. There's weather in space. A lot of people probably don't realize that. Okay. We'll just read about, we have a space weather report. Look at that. I'll share this one. Okay, hold on. There we go with the Aurora Borealis, guys. I mean, yeah, it's pretty. No doubt about it, but okay, low Earth orbit is an increasingly crowded place as the next peak period of solar storms arrives. What's the forecast for space technological systems? Okay. The Australian Space Operations Center had its inaugural big alert the weekend before last. This was recently. This was November 12th. The sun decided to celebrate Halloween with the first powerful flare of the new solar cycle. Okay. The Halloween coronal mass ejection, CME, was detected on October 28th at 15:35 UTC time. Space operators were given 3 days warning of the approaching plasma storm. Here we go. And this is going to tell you what I'm talking about. We're coming into a period over the next 3 years where we're going to see a lot of risk from space weather events right at a time when we're becoming more dependent on space-based assets. There's a whole lot of trouble ahead, and that touches on many different sectors. So there's a lot of planning going into that. Currently, Australia's embryonic space industry has only a handful of these relatively cheap and straightforward devices in orbit, scattering among the ever-expanding constellations of them launched by major international enterprises. Not only is LEO starting to get crowded, it's about to get bumpy. Okay, solar maximum. We're in a solar ascendancy phase with an increasing number of strong flares and geomagnetic storms. And that means problems for all technological systems in space and on Earth too. Okay, this last Halloween coronal mass ejection was detected on October 28th, and it was classified X1, X for the most potent class of flare, 1 for its intensity. And space operators were given 3 days warning of the approaching plasma storm. This was the first time an Australian Bureau of Meteorology had alerted the Regional Space Operations Center. The issues include radio interference, which takes about 8 miles to arrive at Earth, radiation storm, which can arrive anywhere between 20 minutes and several hours after a flare, and there are geomagnetic storms. These can take hours to days to arrive to Earth. Okay, the Halloween X1 flare, the strongest ever recorded, was 28 plus, was predicted to produce a G3 category geomagnetic storm. Our modeling and experience led us to predict this one would be a strong one. We had a dense cloud and a high speed, but it didn't happen. We don't know why or how or why. We got lucky. As the charged particles carried less speed, they produced less shock when striking the Earth's magnetic field. That means the storm was less intense. That's luck. Okay, the geomagnetic variety of solar storm is what the BOM Space Weather Services is most concerned about. It can be a significant problem for ground-based electricity grids and communication cables, like on Earth. Essentially anything large and conductive, such as pipelines. See, that's the thing, guys. These storms can just shut Earth down. I mean, can you imagine right in the middle of the day or middle of the night, even worse, all of our electrical appliances or just electricity ceases to exist, gone. That would be pure anarchy all around the world. I can't even imagine. I mean, if it knocks our satellites out, that means no GPS. That means planes might start falling out of the sky, guys. That's not good. Not good. Okay. You know what? Here, let me try to find another piece. Okay, let's talk about the biggest solar storm that we've had so far. Okay, and you know what? Solar storms wouldn't really affect us so much 30 or 40 or 50 or 100 years ago because back then. But okay, here we go. At 4:51 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday, April 2nd, 2001, the sun unleashed the biggest solar flare ever recorded. as observed by the solar and heliospheric observatory satellite. The flare was definitely more powerful than the famous solar flare on March 6th, 1989, which was related to the disruption of power grids in Canada. So there you go. In 1989, Canada's power grids went down. This explosion from the active region near the sun's northwest limb hurled a coronal mass ejection into space at a whopping speed of roughly 7.2 million kilometers per hour. Wow. Luckily, the flare was not aimed directly towards Earth. Guys, if that flare was hurled directly at Earth, that would have had a major impact. Now, I'm not going to say it would have melted us, but it probably would have knocked all of the power grids out. I mean, the only reason it just hit Canada was because of that it was ejected. And you know, the sun is round. It's a sphere. So it's probably shooting out flares all around it. I mean, it's luck that it shoots a flare out right where our orbit is, but it's probably constantly shooting these solar flares out. Okay, solar flares, among the solar system's mightiest eruptions, are tremendous explosions in the atmosphere of the sun, capable of releasing as much energy as 1 billion megatons of TNT. Caused by the sudden release of magnetic energy, in just a few seconds, flares can accelerate solar particles to very high velocities, almost to the speed of light, and heat solar material to tens of millions of degrees. Solar ejections are often associated with flares and sometimes occur shortly after the flare explosion. Coronal mass ejections, CMUs, are clouds of electrified magnetic gas weighing billions of tons, ejected from the sun and hurled into space with speeds ranging from 12 to 1,250 miles per second. Depending on the orientation of the magnetic fields carried by the ejection cloud, Earth-directed, the ones that come at us, coronal mass ejections cause magnetic storms by interacting with the Earth's magnetic field, distorting its shape and accelerating electrically charged particles trapped within. Severe solar weather is often heralded by dramatic auroral displays, northern and southern lights, and magnetic storms that occasionally affect satellites, radio communications, and power systems. The flare and solar ejection has also generated a storm of high-velocity particles, and the number of particles with 10 million electron volts of energy in the space near Earth is now 10,000 times greater than normal. The increase of particles at this energy level still poses no appreciable hazard to air travelers, astronauts, or satellites, and the NOAA SEC rates the radiation storm as a moderate S2 to S3 on a scale that goes to S5, S5 being the worst. This solar flare that we're speaking of produced an R4 radio blackout on the sunlit side of the Earth. An R4 blackout is second to the most severe R5 classification. The classification measures the disruption in radio communications. So X-ray and ultraviolet light from the flare changed the structure of the Earth's electrically charged upper atmosphere, the ionosphere. This affected radio communication frequencies that either pass through the ionosphere to satellites or are reflected by it to traverse the globe. Do you see what kind of mess these solar storms are creating? Wow. Let's check out some pictures of some different solar storms, huh? I want you guys to see what this looks like. It's really interesting. Okay. Let's share, shall we? There. Okay, guys, these are all different pictures of solar flares. I mean, look at the size of that one or that one. Imagine that coming right at us. It's kind of pretty, actually. No, it's not very often that I get to look directly. I mean, look at that. They're really mysterious looking, actually. That's a massive solar flare right there. Ooh, look at that one. It's like essentially shooting a big, I don't know, stream of lava into the solar system or into space. At least that's smoothing air traffic worldwide. This is a prime example of how enhanced data on solar flares could provide tangible benefits for life on Earth. These solar explosions are thought to be triggered by changes in the shape of magnetic fields that encircle the sun. For the first time, explains Piana, researchers have been able to detect these changes to a level of clarity not previously achieved. One of the nicest things about our database. My broadcast has been paused. Why? Okay, that's strange because I still see myself live recording. What is going on? Okay, guys, am I broadcasting? What's going on? I mean, everything's a go here. Okay, I'm going to continue. Okay. Where was I? One of the nicest things about our database is the ability to make statistical analysis on the flares. Okay. You know what? That's not what I'm looking for anyway. Let's find something better. Let's see here. Hold on. Let's talk about our most recent. Okay, hold on. Space weather live. Yeah, I don't understand this. Okay, hold on, guys. Okay. That totally messed me up about not broadcasting. Ooh, okay. We'll share this one. Okay, latest news updates. Sunspot region 2894. This is what the latest sunspot or solar flare looked like right here, guys. Okay, now that was an intense one, and a week or half week, if you asked us. Sunspot regions 2887 and 2891 really kept us all on our toes. M flares, and of course the X 1.0 solar flare that looked really promising with an Earth-directed coronal mass ejection, but we all know how that turned out. This plasma cloud only gave us a minor glancing blow, and we never got the strong G3 geomagnetic storm that was forecast. Good thing we had sunspot region 2891 waiting in the wings. Okay. Very cool. This is what the Aurora Borealis looked like on November 4th, a month ago. Very cool. Ooh, look at that. Looks like it's coming straight at us right there, huh? I mean, that has to be our telescope looking straight at it, I'm sure. It's like this one erupted. Doesn't say a date, but not that long ago. Look at the brightness of that spot. Wow. Crazy. Yeah, I really don't think there's too much for us to worry about anytime soon, but this is constantly happening. Probably, I'm sure, every day. It's just a matter of what happens if there's a huge one. I've seen a few different movies where it shows like the Earth kind of melting. Like a giant solar storm comes through space and just takes the whole planet out. I mean, not melts the planet, but kills all of the Earth life. I could see that happening in the future. I mean, hopefully not in our lifetime, but as we let our guard down, as we ruin the atmosphere, ozone layer opens up. This definitely gives possibilities for radiation to come through our atmosphere, and that will slowly kill us all. So, not good. Okay. You know what? Let's look at the beautiful side of solar storms, huh? Let's check out the Aurora Borealis. Oh, so beautiful, man. All right, let's share. Look how nice that looks. Okay, as crazy as solar storms are, they still give us this. Ooh, this one looks awesome. Wow. I have been fortunate enough to see the Aurora Borealis, and it is a spectacular sight. And all that is from these huge solar storms and solar flares. It's, as I read before, basically the heat from the flare and the wind kind of makes our atmosphere misshapen our magnetic field and pushes it, and it kind of folds and misshapes. And this is the result. This is what it looks like. Wow, look at that. That is awesome. Can you imagine riding down the road and seeing that in front of you? It's like a time and space tunnel. Look at the face on the Aurora Borealis for this one. Whoa. Is that a dragon? Super cool. I don't know, people. This looks like an angel. Wow. For such a violent, hazardous storm, it definitely gives us some beauty. That's for sure. Very cool. I'd like to show you guys a video, but I don't trust it. Somebody will probably get mad. That's a pretty one. That's a pretty one. Amazing. Simply amazing. Look at that. Very cool. I don't know, Bosch, should we do a video? I mean, we don't have much time left. What do you think? I'm asking. Totally up to you. Looks like I'm frozen again. Okay. Let's do one video. Why not? If we get in trouble, we get in trouble. I don't know. Whatever. That is so beautiful. Okay, let's see. Look at that. It looks like an alien atmosphere. Okay. That certainly didn't work. There we go. Look at that. We don't need sound. We can just watch. That is so cool. Auroral beads. Wow. Super cool. There you go. There's the bending of the magnetic fields. Mm-hmm. Wow. You see how that works? I'm not 100% sure, but it's interesting. Wow. Those are all ions, of course. Look at all that solar wind. See, the wind puts too much pressure. And there's backlash. And that's the lava lamp. Okay. That is cool. That's a solar storm right there, people. That's what it looks like. Okay. You know, one more. I want a good one. An actual Northern Lights video, not the science behind it. Let's see, 2 hours and 29 minutes. Ooh, no. Very awesome. And this is in Alaska, I believe. No, nothing special, just green. Okay, I don't like this one. Let me find one really good one, guys. Okay. Okay, boss, I'm going to send it to you. I did not see that message. Here you go. I think this is a good one. Go for it. One last little video here before we cut. I think this is going to be great. Multicolored. Green does nothing for me. Oh, yeah, look at that. That's awesome, guys. Pink, a little bit of purple in there. Oh, yeah. That's nice. I highly recommend to watch the Aurora Borealis if you can get a chance to get up north enough to actually view it. But look at that. That might be one of the best natural, I don't know, displays of color that we'll ever know. Wow. Amazing. That's a solar storm, people. Intense. Yeah, I like that. Scotland's beautiful anyway, so this on top of the beautiful natural surrounding, that's something special right there. Very awesome. Ooh-wee. Wow. Super cool. You know, where I'm from in Chicago, sometimes we'd have the opportunity to see the Aurora Borealis, but really small and only like a little bit of green in the sky. But I've witnessed it in Chicago. Rare, but I've definitely witnessed it. Okay, we can cut. We can cut. Okay, guys, you know what? That's going to do it for our... Oh, I didn't want to do that. Okay, hold on a second here. That's going to do it for the 91st edition of Englishing with James, where we saw some pretty cool Aurora Borealis and we discussed what solar storms are all about. And I'm frozen all the time. What's up with that? Anyway, okay, guys, thank you for coming. This was fun. I'm not exactly an expert with solar storms, and I learned a little bit here today about how they're produced and what happens. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave your comments below. Let us know what you think. Maybe let us know about your experience with the Aurora Borealis. And once again, thanks for coming. We'll be back next week with number 92, so don't miss it. It's a pleasure to be your host every week. Everybody have a fabulous weekend and week, and we'll see you later. Ciao for now.